Hey, Brian from Garage Mahal. Today I have a VEVOR Drywall Screwgun. This was a little tricky, I got to be honest with you, to get the hang of, but once I did, this thing is an absolute dream. I have a mock-up drywall frame here, so we can go through and do a live demo of that so you can kind of like see that going on. It comes with a charger, one battery, a second battery. It comes with a tool belt clip on there. You can mount it to either side depending on your preference. It comes with this basically kind of like a finishing tip on there if you want to use it for that. It has a regular screwdriver tip as well as the long drywall screwdriver piece that simply, well, let's get started. I'll give you kind of a close-up view after I'm done with everything, but we'll just like run through it. So basically this kind of like works like any other drill. You kind of like push it down and then that will seat into place. And then this is your drywall gun that has the clips on it. So basically, I'll show you close-ups, but there's a lot of different things that this can do. It will adjust out to depending on the size screws that you're using. It is millimeter, so to give you an idea, I got this. This does not come with it, but these are the screws you're going to be using. Senko seems to be like the only product out there that has these screws on a belt, but these are 32 millimeter, or basically 1¼ inch. And why that's important is because when it feeds through, if you happen to miss a screw, which is going to happen, you want it to be able to feed all the way through and out and not hold up your progress. So basically, every time you push that down, it's going to forward that track of screws. And if you do half a click or something, getting a hang of it, you want to make sure those screws extend all the way out. Again, I'll give you a close-up towards the end and give you a general idea how that works. You have a button here that will pull this out in case you get a jam per se. I did not have this jam on me at all. I just kind of had a couple misfeeds getting like used to it. So, and then basically what this does is you have that little channel in there, and then this goes in, and then you push it down, and it will lock. You have these two buttons on either side that lock that in, and then you have a track of screws. I've already kind of partially used this off. You want, if you run low, you want to cut it off so you have at least two empty sections here. And then what you're doing is you're feeding it through here. And be careful because the screws can be sharp. So, and then you just feed it through that part there. Again, I'll give you a close-up. And you want to feed it, and you'll hear it kind of click once or twice. Click it so it's tracking carefully, because then what you're doing is you're pushing down on this. See how that screwdriver point comes up, and it'll basically progress to the next screw. Okay, so that's going to be ready to go for us to start. Let me just back this out a little bit. And actually, you can't back it out. What you end up having to do is you end up opening this up, and then you basically are pulling the screw belt all the way out when you're completely done. And then you're putting this section back in. And it's kind of easy to do. Just got to kind of set that side. And again, I'll give you close-ups of everything. So that's your 35 setting for your 32s. And this does swivel, so it makes loading this a little bit easier. And then we'll get this set up. And again, we'll click that up and through a couple times. So we are basically, we're going to set it up so next time we depress this, it will set the screw up for us. And give you kind of an idea, I'm going to go ahead and just do one up here real quick. So then that will feed out to the next one. Okay, so we're ready to go on this. So we'll just mount this one up here real quick. So basically that just put a screw into that 2x4. I'm going to show you how it starts working on this. It does have a depth ability to control your depth on this. So if you want this to basically kind of like go right into a drywall to press it, again, this will take a little practice to get used to get like the finesse part of it down. But again, once you have this set up and working right, this thing is a dream. I mean, that's basically it. So I do have a kickstand on this piece of, I guess, framing, if you want to call it that, behind this. So I'm going to kind of like support it, but then I'll probably do a couple flat just so it's easier to see, especially when I switch the camera view, looking over my shoulder so you can see everything nice and close up. But basically what you are doing is you're basically just pushing down, lining it up, and then boom, that screw is in. So I'm going to go down here, flick in place, and it's just that quick. And if you wanted to angle this for whatever reason, you can go up, upside down, sideways, get a better view here, and you'll see it depresses it like perfectly. So when you go over to put your spackle on there, it's going to be nice and flush for you. Anyway, let me switch the camera angles around so you can see over my shoulder. I'll re-explain everything again, but I mean, quick, super easy, and loading it is pretty much a dream. And like I said, this is like I missed this one on a click, but once you have this down, it's so easy. So stay tuned. Okay, so once again, I'm using the Senko 6 by 1 1/4 or 32 millimeter. And then I'll take this completely apart, start from scratch, so you can see how you get this out of the box. And it does come with this carry bag, which, I mean, it's awesome. You can store everything in there. So, let me pull this belt of screws out. And then while we have this out, what I can show you is, so if you got a couple misses and you're putting this off for later, what I have done is I'm basically just taking this one track and I'm cutting it. So now you're left with that one piece. That is garbage. And then, so this is your depth gauge on there. So you can adjust it so it countersinks the screws for you, or you can screw all the way out and then it's going to keep your screw head basically out. I'm not sure why you would do that, but it does have that feature. Obviously, we want the countersink, and you can adjust this with a little practice and see where it goes. So you can see the countersink, how far that you want that to go in. So if you want it out a little bit, so you're not putting as much spackle, but again, that's up to you. Okay, so you have this will unlock it in case you have a jam, that top piece, and you're just lining it back up on the tracks. And again, this will take a quick moment just to get orientated to that. But you have a wider track on one side, lesser track on this side. So it basically goes in, snaps in place. Make sure that this little rivet thing is lined up with that groove. I somehow got it down into the bottom part, and I was having trouble getting that in. So kind of a tip and trick for you. And then this button here is what's going to adjust. So you can adjust right to your right screw length for that bypass part. And again, we're going to go 35 millimeter, even though we have 32-inch screws. That just gives us enough clearance on there to be able to use that properly. And again, that's how that mechanism works. And you can kind of hear how it clicks back and forth. Okay, so let's put this bit in and basically just push it down, and then that will lock into place. Kind of has a little bit of a turn to it, so might take a little messing around with that once or twice. And then you have that hole, and then you're putting that bit right through there, and then you want to push it until it locks in place. Okay, and then your belt feed, get the camera angle right for that. So we are feeding in down through here, up, and then there's another little ridge up here, and you want to feed that in, and you hear it click once, twice, and again. So now we're kind of like set and ready to go. So let me put that down like that, this out of the way, and then let me see if the angle's going to be right for this drywall. Oh, let me get a little more. I think light will help there better for this shot. So what I'm doing is I'll start lower. So basically you're pushing it forward, and then see how that doesn't countersink all the way. So we are going to adjust that all the way down. Get this next one. So boom, right down. So again, it countersinks it nice. These two, again, one, you got to get kind of like into the finesse of using this on a regular basis. So it's like any other tool. Once you get used to it, it works like a dream. Let me get this camera angle down, and we'll do the center. Okay, so I'll give you a kind of a shot from this angle so you can kind of see what's going on. Basically see how it lines that screw up. And then right down. So super easy. And obviously you can see I swayed over here because I didn't make a chalk line. So I could see exactly where the center of the beam was. But again, I mean, this thing works great over in corners. So you can adjust this. So depending on where you're going. So super great. But anyway, that's everything. This thing works fantastic. Takes a little practice, like I said, but once you get this down, this thing will go through your drywall process like a dream for you. Anyway, Brian from Garage Mahal, thanks for watching, and be safe out there.